Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We're so glad that you could take the time to join us today to talk a little bit about the online global programs for North Carolina. Thank you all for coming, and we're going to have, I think, a very interesting webinar. We've got some companies to talk about, and we have some people from the EDPNC, so we have a lot to talk about here. Before we really get started, and just while the last of you are logging on, let's start with some quick introductions. So my name is Susanna Hardy. I'm Chief Content Officer at IBT Online, and I'll be sort of fielding the questions. So please, we would really encourage you to put your questions into the chat box, and we have time at the end for questions, so please, we do encourage that. I'm joined by my colleague, the Senior Online Marketing Manager at IBT Online, Joelle Lazzarotto, and Joelle will be sharing some of our experiences, our wisdom, and expertise on the online marketing side that we've done for North Carolina companies. And we are really pleased that Michael Cole, International Trade Manager at the EDPNC, is going to be talking about what the EDPNC resources are for North Carolina companies. And Mike can share his expertise, his wisdom on it, show you the contacts and the overview of the services for the international side. And is a phenomenal contact to have. He's reach out to him. He's got a lot of answers, and he knows an awful lot about how and endless good humor to help you navigate international waters. And we are super charged up to have Melissa Weatherman from Advanced Superabrasives. Now, we were talking earlier, Melissa's title is Assistant to the President. But she is just, so much more. So, we're really pleased that Melissa is joining us to talk from the company's perspective of what they have found, why online tools, which kind of online tools, websites, where, how, what the experience has been, how it's been on the online marketing side, how they worked, whether the results have been the return on investment. So, Melissa is here to share some of those experiences as a North Carolina company. So we're really pleased about that. So just a quick word also about us as a company. So IBT Online, we're a private company, US company, and we've been around for quite a long time, since 2002. We're 100% focused on online tools. So that means websites and online marketing for international markets. So our real expertise, our real unique selling point is to help companies, particularly mid-cap companies, go from one place to another, and to use websites and online marketing to grow their business, to grow their brand, their sales, exports online globally. So we're very pleased to be working then also with the state of North Carolina to offer the online global programs. And we'll talk a little bit more about those online global programs and how we think that they can help you as a North Carolina company to grow your business and what that means. Right, in today's agenda, then, we sort of split it up between 6 big sections. So first, we're going to hear from Michael about sort of the EDPNC and what resources, and particularly on the international side, that the EDPNC has for North Carolina businesses. Then we're going to hear from Melissa about Advanced Superabrasives, about they are as a company, the choices they made, and that sort of journey on the online journey and the online global programs for the marketing especially. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about, some of the reasons, the big picture side of online marketing and what the tools are available to you. And then Joelle is going to lend some of her expertise to talk specifically about online marketing, for the strategies and what it means for international online marketing, and then some case studies as well, and then finally we've reserved some time at the end for Q&A and so on. So please, as I said, do drop your questions into the chat box. We will be having a couple of little polls during the webinar, so please get your mouse ready and click on the appropriate response. And at the very end, there is a 30-second survey, and we would really appreciate it if you could fill out that survey. That'd be really kind of you. Thank you very much. Right, with that, I'm going to pass over to to Mike, to talk a little bit about the resources for North Carolina businesses that the EDPNC can have. Michael?
Thank you, Susanna, very much, and thank you to IBT for putting on this this very informative webinar today. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Michael Cole, and I am actually one of 5 international trade managers for the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Many of you that have joined us today have worked with us in the past, and you're probably very familiar with what we do, as well as the resources and services that we offer, but we do have quite a few companies that have not worked with us extensively. So very briefly, I'm just gonna review sort of what EDPNC does, what our mission is, and then very specifically talk about the International Trade Division and how we can support your business in your exporting journey. The EDPNC really was founded to improve the quality of life in North Carolina, and we do that through several mechanisms. We recruit new businesses to our state. Those can be businesses from other states in the U.S. They could be businesses located in other countries that want to have a presence in North Carolina. We have a large existing industry support team that helps all sorts and sizes of businesses with on-the-ground needs, from expansion needs to workforce development to seeking capital for building improvements and new technology improvements and equipment needs. We have a whole team dedicated to small business support and starting small businesses. So if you've got a relatively new business, or you're thinking about starting a new business, or you have a new product that you are interested in taking to market, we have a whole team dedicated towards helping you with those sorts of issues. We also promote our world-class travel and tourism industry. Many of you know we have beautiful beaches and beautiful mountains. North Carolina is really unique, and we do our best to promote the state. That industry is very important to our state and for the number of jobs that we have. Lastly, we help companies find customers all over the world. Many of you may not know that 95% of the world's customers and over 75% of the world's purchasing power is outside of the United States. And that's a lot of customers to add to your database, so to speak, and a really fantastic opportunity for you to make your business more resilient, to add jobs to your business, and all sorts of other benefits for engaging in international trade and exporting. Like I said, we have 5 international trade managers. Each one of those managers is responsible for a suite of industries. So when you reach out to us, you'll be paired with the manager responsible for your particular sector, whether that's automotive, aerospace, medical, pharma, life science related industries, which I cover. We also assist food and beverage companies, technology companies, defense and security, furniture, wood and forest products. Whatever your business is, whatever product or service you have, we've got an international trade manager that can help you navigate through the export journey. In addition to our in-state experts, we also have 6 international offices dedicated to helping North Carolina companies. And those offices are located in top markets around the world, and they can assist you with a myriad of export-related issues, from helping you understand and navigate foreign government restrictions, difficult or complex trade regulations. They can do market research and provide you with information about the social, economic, and political environment for a particular market. Our foreign offices can connect you with vetted international distributors, resellers, and other potential buyers, as well as set meetings and appointments with those prospects when you travel to a particular country for a trade show or other business meetings and activities. We offer export education on a variety of topics related to exporting and international trade. from relatively simple topics like cultural considerations when you're traveling to very complex topics like export documentation and trade compliance. Typically, those are held in person around the state. In years past, we had done dozens of educational events around the state throughout the year. But as everyone knows, travel and in-person meetings have been restricted as of late. We all know why. So we also have launched a very robust schedule of educational webinars. In fact, last year we conducted, I think, over 35 educational webinars last year alone. I would encourage you to visit our website. We always have an up-to-date schedule of the upcoming educational opportunities. We really encourage you, like I said, to take advantage of those. It's a really good opportunity. In fact, some of our speakers typically charge several $100s for the webinars that they conduct, and those are absolutely free for North Carolina companies. So we encourage you to look into those. The last thing that I want to go over, and the thing that we're really most excited about, is our Export Activity Financial Assistance Program from the U.S. Small Business Administration. This program, called the State Trade Expansion Program, or STEP, is a grant program for North Carolina small businesses designed to support your business in a variety of export-related activities. The grant offers, for instance, $5,000 for booth costs at an international trade show. It offers up to $3,000 for travel and hotel expenses for you to attend a foreign trade show. It offers reimbursement for work done by the U.S. Commercial Service. It offers reimbursements for foreign marketing expenses, translation of company literature and marketing materials, and particularly relevant to today's topic, it offers, get this, up to $10,000 for companies to engage in website optimization and creating country-specific websites for markets where you want to enhance your online presence. I think that we have all been engaging in these webinars and Zoom meetings and other things like that for the last year or so because we have had to do that. We've had no choice. But we really believe that those types of formats and engaging in that type of way is going to continue, even when physical trade shows come back, even when you can travel and meet buyers in person. These types of platforms and this engaging with technology and using the internet will continue because, frankly, it's a better way to do business in many cases. It's more efficient, it costs less money, it takes less time, and it enables you to engage with many, many more people than you would be able to in person. And we're really, really encouraging companies to get in the internet game, to begin engaging in these foreign markets through the internet, through website optimization and search engine optimization. The companies that are doing that are the companies that are really springing out of this pandemic and the situation with super speed, and they're able to engage people around the world, while companies that are not are just sort of waiting and sitting on their hands and waiting for physical trade shows come back. Don't wait, folks. This is the future, and we really, really encourage you to take advantage of some of these programs. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to go over that, Susanna and Joelle. I'm gonna pass it back over to you guys, and I really look forward to hearing what Melissa has to say as well.
Thank you very much. Before I pass on to Melissa, I just wanted to actually ask everybody, and as Michael said, you know, we're all Zooming in and out of each other's computers all the time. I just thought we could have a little poll here. I'm going to launch a poll, and then, you know, let us know, have you already taken advantage of some of the services of the EDPNC? If so, can you let us know? Have you done that frequently? Is this something you've done just very occasionally, or is it something you're still thinking about? Michael gave a good landscape sort of overview of the many services that are available. There's, if you could just let us know when, actually, I can give you a little bit of feedback. Almost all of you have replied already, so thank you for jumping onto that poll so quickly. And it's absolutely evenly split. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 frequently, 1/3 occasionally, and 1/3 thinking about it. So thank you very, very much for that poll. As I said, there'll be 2 more later on, but we appreciate your responses to that. Thank you very much. And thank you, Michael, for sharing that. And I've got a slide here of just showing the different people involved for the EDPNC. As Michael said, there's a lot of different expertise. There's an expert for everybody within that group. I think with that, then we're going to turn over to Melissa and hear from Advanced Superabrasives, their story. Melissa, is that okay?
That sounds good, Susanna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa.
Well, to introduce myself, I'm Melissa Weatherman, and I'm assistant to the president here at Advanced Superabrasives, and I've been with the company almost 2 years. And Jonathan Such is our president and owner of the company. And when I came on board in 2019, you can see what our original website looked like. It was created in 2006 and just kind of left there. And really, before that, there really wasn't a whole lot of push to update it. We knew it needed to be updated, but we were kind of just sitting on that. So we're a small company in Mars Hill, North Carolina. We make super abrasives, and we export products to 28 countries. And so we knew that global presence was also going to be something that we needed to look at in the future. So once COVID became a part of our lives, we knew it was immediate that we needed to update the website. And so Jonathan and Advanced Superabrasives had been working with EDPNC for years before I came on board, but I was introduced to Mike and his team and Jen Vogelsberg and the STEP grant, and they became a part of us working with IBT Online in order to create a new website. And so we can go to the next slide. So here, the process, to give you a little bit of the process and just to kind of tack on to what Susanna said about the poll, the ones of you who are thinking about working with EDPNC, that needs to be a yes. They are phenomenal to work with, and the only thing that you can get out of it is to grow your business. So I'll just give them a little plug. But the process began with us introducing ourselves to our IBT Online team, and they're global as well. So their knowledge is just priceless. You can't even put a price on what they bring to the table. And they kind of lead you. So it's kind of like putting on a blindfold. For me, marketing and websites was not any part of what I had experience with. So felt like I had a blindfold on, and they were leading me through this, which they did with such ease and grace. So we gave them our goals, what do we want out of it, and they set the project put together. We gave them the information, and with that, pieces put together, they created our local website, or our US website to begin with. So you can see how different it is. And I can tell you that within days of rolling out the new website, our colleagues and our clients and customers were calling us immediately like, oh my gosh, your website is phenomenal. Who did this, or what did you do? So we would tell them, we've been working with IBT Online. So then from there, once that rolled out, then we knew that we wanted to expand globally, and our 2 biggest export countries were Canada and Mexico. So once we got the US website together, that made it better for them to be able to go and increase our presence in Mexico. And well, it's not just Mexico, it's in Spanish, so it's Latin America. And then we have a Canadian website as well. So now we have 3 different websites for all of North America and into South America even. So, and so what happens is once these roll out and you start working with IBT Online Marketing, so Joelle and her team, they work with Google Ads and LinkedIn, and they manage like our Facebook post and just trying to increase traffic and bring folks onto our platform and to contact us. So I can tell you that what happened within a week or two of introducing the Mexico website, our Latin America and Mexico representative, Armando, he had been having to do cold calling, and he had been basically having to scrape up people to contact and look at in order to try to get more business. Within a week or two of rolling out the Mexico website, he was getting 5 to 10 leads per week so that he could reach out to them. So it went from him having to look and scrape up for people to call to people actually calling him, and we have actually gotten new customers that way. So those are customers that we would not have gotten without this. With IBT Online, what they do, when you have the websites and they're doing your local and your foreign advertising, you get a detailed report every month. And when I say detailed, that is an understatement. They let you know where the traffic is, they let you know who's looking at it, they let you know how your Google ads are doing and what is being produced from those. And so from there, we can work together and tweak, well, how about we try this industry in this section, or how about we target this area and look at this industry? And they work with us to kind of do that and get more traffic through there. And it's just phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about them and the experience that we've had with them. And working with EDPNC and Jen and getting the STEP grant has just been a blessing to our company, being a small business under 50 employees. It's just been the most beneficial thing that we could have done for them. And I can't say enough good things about either one of them.
Melissa, thank you so much for that. And just so you know, Melissa, there's a couple of questions that have come in.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, we'll just do one question now, which I'm getting just because it's there right now. Is how long did the process take? Maybe you could just sort of how long did the process perhaps of the website take, and then maybe if you have some clues about how long the marketing took to have any effects. When you mentioned Armando, but
okay. Yeah, so that's easy to answer. So when I first came on board, like I said, we knew we wanted to revamp it, but that was pre-COVID, and we kind of like, well, you know, kind of doing other things. Well, in March of 2020, we knew that virtual presence had to be redone. That had to step up because everybody was going virtual. And so we started the process in May, and it was mid-August when we rolled out the US website. And it took about another 6 weeks. So we rolled out the Canada and Mexico website in October. For people to start responding, for Mexico, it was within a week to 2 weeks. It didn't take long at all. Yeah, it just, Armando called and was like, you're not going to believe this. Like, I don't have to look for people anymore. They're coming to me faster than I can handle. So, but yeah, it was a hard process in the beginning because you don't realize what it takes to make a complete and like profitable website. And so giving IBT Online the information, we gave them like a third of what they needed in the beginning. And then once they gave us like a skeleton of the website, we're like, oh gosh, we need to give them more. And so like I said, it was like Susanna and Joelle were leading us with the blindfold, but at the end we were like, whoa. So.
Okay, thank you so much, Melissa. There's some more questions, but we'll save them for the end.
Okay.
But thank you very much for that information. We wanted just to talk now a little bit, sort of the big picture side, and I'll just sort of give some views. First of all, why we think it's important. You know, why is international marketing important? What are we doing there? Some quick, big stats. Total number, I mean, 60% of the world is online. 60% of the world is online. And the average time spent online is 7 hours a day. So 4.6 billion people are spending 7 hours a day online. That's how ubiquitous the internet is. And a lot of that time is spent on social media, not just your kids on Facebook or your granny posting, no, social media today is an integral part of many companies' business strategy. There are markets which are, even more plugged in than the United States and rely on social media. Businesses rely on social media to communicate with prospects and existing clients. And they want to communicate with you. And if you want to find them, that is the best way to find them on the social media. So there's some big numbers there. Social media users versus total population is the second graph. I know it's hard to see. You will get a recording of this webinar, by the way, I think on Monday. But you can see that most countries, social media users versus total population are well into the 70%. Then there's these outliers like, UAE, South Korea, where it's like 89, 90%. So 90% of population are using social media. And what are they all doing? They're all basically communicating with this. They said they're spending, if they're spending 7 hours a day on the internet, they're spending something in the region of 3 hours a day, or 2.5 hours a day, I should say, sorry, on social media. So 2.5 hours per day for about 4.6 billion people on this. It's still growing. It's growing at something like 13% in 2020. It's a strong year, but it's continuing to grow in 2021 as well. And note also, a lot of it happens on a mobile phone. And particularly if you're targeting certain markets, which are called mobile first markets. Let's say you're going to a place like Indonesia, Vietnam, much of South America. It is a mobile market. And again, we'll have some examples of this later on and show you the differences for your strategy. But let's not make it too complicated. Online business development tools, there are two, that's all. There are two that you've just got to figure out. The rest is not important. Websites and online marketing, and they go hand in hand. And you can have big websites or brochure-like websites. You can have e-commerce enabled or not, and you can have all different kinds of levels and strengths of online marketing, as long as they are fit together. These days, the world in the internet world is too complicated and too competitive to just rely on your website. Just, build it and they will come. That doesn't actually work anymore. You need to make sure that your website stays fresh, that your keywords are refreshed, that your optimization is looked at. You need to treat it like a person virtually, just make sure that it's always in your thoughts. It's, bring it into the strategies. And one of the easiest ways of doing that is to have an online marketing strategy that is an online forward-looking and long-term strategy. And we'll talk a bit more about that later with Joelle. The question we often get, and I'm just going to quickly address it, and this is something we talked about quite a bit in our previous webinar about website localization. And if you want to hear more about website localization, there is a recording of that webinar. What we often get is, well, look, I've got this, I've just spent, I've just invested in this terrific North Carolina website. Why can't I just put some extra pages on my North Carolina website? Why can't I use my North Carolina-based social media? Why do I have to do everything in a different language, on a different platform, and so on? It's because of something called localization. The way the internet is structured is through localization. In other words, it puts the searcher at the heart of it. So your prospect in Japan is going to go to Google, but Google Japan, and it's in Japanese. And the keywords are in Japanese, and they're different from the keywords that you might have in your US market. And the Japanese prospective client that you want is going to search for you in the way they want to, with using the terms they want to, and on the platforms they want to. And if you want them to find you, you need to adapt to them. They're not going to adapt to you. So that's what localization means. It means having these different websites and thinking in in the mouse, in the shoes of your prospective client. So when we talk about strategies for online strategies, we're saying, okay, let's say you have an e-commerce based website in North Carolina. Well, that's got its own search engine optimization. It's got its social media. You could be interfacing with Amazon, but you've got some French prospects and you know that your product will work really well in Brazil. Well, then they need their own environments. They need their own orbits, and they can all funnel back into your US website. That's fine. But they need to have a legitimate purpose on their own as well. So you need to have like a localized French website with localized social media and SEO given for that market. Same for Brazil in this case that I've given you here. So when we're talking about strategies, that's what we're talking about here. It's using your US one, your North Carolina platform, but then adapting it and looking at what the local market, your prospective market wants and needs. A good way of knowing whether your website is localized or not is just seeing who's, is that website fit for purpose? Who's coming to the website? So this is a screenshot of a website we built for a company in Australia. I'm sorry, it's a US company, but they want an Australian website. So to see whether it's working or not, let's see who goes there. So out of all the visits, they had like 3,600 visits. 3,000 of them are from Australia. So Google believes that and confirms this website is good for Australia. It's relevant for Australia. And if you take Australia plus New Zealand, it's pretty well 99%. The rest is just nothing. I mean, India, Canada, a couple of visits, that's it. But so Google says this website is fit for purpose. This is a localized website. This is something that's relevant to Australia. So an Australian prospective client will find this website if they're looking. So that's quite a neat way of looking to see whether your website is well localized or not. There's a couple of ones that I wanted to show you as examples, and Melissa talked about the case for Advanced Superabrasives. Another North Carolina company is Nomadic State of Mind. They wanted websites specifically to find distributors, and they were missing two big markets, Taiwan and South Africa, which were big markets for them, prospective markets. They said, I want a specific website just to find distributors in those markets. And so they used the EDPNC grants to do that and to build these localized website for distributor searches. So another example, and so these are just two other examples I'll put up here. One is Stanza Machinery, the other is QMax. Again, they're looking for specific markets, in this case, Korea, Canada, Mexico as well. There's a European one, sort of a general European one in English, and then the very, very specific one for Korea. Again, in each case, the company chose the markets it wanted to go for, and then we built out those websites. I'm now going to pass over to Joelle to talk more about the online marketing strategy side. But before I do, I just wanted to ask as well, just sort of launching a poll here, if any of you are interested to learn more about the website localization side. If you want to learn more about the websites, and don't worry, there'll be a poll later about international marketing. But if you want to hear more about these localized websites, then let us know, and we can send you some free downloadables and stuff on our website and things that you can get a hold of and look through. And thank you very, very much for those enthusiastic responses. We'll circle back to you in the course of next week and get you some information about localized websites and the grants that are available. Right, I'm going to close this poll. Where's my mouse? There it is. Close the poll and move the slide for Joelle. Hi, Joelle.
Hi, Susanna. Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Perfect. So going into a bit more detail about international online marketing, and in the next section, I just wanted to focus and really define some of the elements that you need to consider when starting to think about a marketing strategy, and more specifics when you're going internationally. What do you need to consider? What do you need to look out for? So first thing first, before you can start designing and developing your marketing campaigns, there is one key element you need to define for your own business, for your company, and this is your buyer persona. So as HubSpot defines it, a buyer persona is a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer, which is based on market research, but also real data about your existing customers. So defining a buyer persona is really, really important. This allows you to make sure you're always reaching the right person at the right time with the right message. And this means saving yourself a ton of time and resources in the long run. What is also important to keep in mind about the buyer persona is that you can, you should, and you very likely will have a few different buyer persona. So this is especially true for international buyer persona, because your domestic persona is most likely going to have a different language you're comfortable with, different lifestyle, consuming information differently, different age group, and maybe different buyer habits altogether. So when we start to think about your international buyer persona, on the next slides, I just wanted to provide some examples. So what is important to note again is that here I've just listed a couple of questions that you should start asking yourself when you are thinking about your international markets. Is my international buyer persona different from domestic? In what way? You know, how does, for example, here, going back to Melissa's example, Latin America buyer persona, how do they find me? How do they interact and engage with me? So here I brought an example from L'Oreal, who is frequently cited for how spot on they are with their international marketing. So here we have L'Oreal USA. We have women, top floor of a building, fantastic views, empowered, women in charge, diversity. If we move over to see same company, different market, for L'Oreal Mexico, here they show an office environment that is a bit more relaxed, one that includes both men and women making decisions together, collaborating. And this is very interesting because compared to the US and even Brazil, which is my next example, this is the only one with a man in the picture. And I've mentioned Brazil, the third example, also looks pretty different than the previous two. As you can see by the imagery and the background, you can tell that they're in Brazil based on the water, the mountains, and the women in the background. But the atmosphere looks like is modern but tied to nature. So all things that are pertinent to the Brazilian people's lives. Even the messaging is different if you look in the details. So they're saying that they have been innovating for the past 60 years to share beauty with all Brazilians. So this is just to demonstrate how each buyer persona is clearly different, and L'Oreal message is very respectful of that. Once you've defined your buyer persona, then you can start mapping and figuring out the buyer's journey. So the buyer's journey is defined as the active research process someone goes through leading up to a purchase. So this is a fundamental part of every strategy, including, for example, your social media strategy, because it will be the framework that you can use to understand your buyer's need and provide them information they need to reach their goal. So every interaction your persona has with your business should be tailored to where they are in the buyer's journey. And this is broken down into three elements. We have the awareness stage, where the buyer is looking to identify the problem. And then they go into the consideration stage, when they're trying to understand what options could then resolve that problem. And the decision stage, when they're comparing the top choices, when they're ready to make a purchase. So this is important to remember. Also, your buyer persona difference across market. And that's why you need to localize the website and all of your marketing media to make sure you're engaging with your local buyer persona in the way they want, with the right message, depending on where they are on this journey. Okay, so diving a little bit deeper into a marketing strategy, looking at platforms, I just wanted to take a moment to clarify and define some terminology, which I'm sure you're all familiar with to an extent. So when we talk about organic search or search engine optimization, so this is when, for example, you type a question into Google or any other search engine, and the list of links that appears below the ads are known as organic results. So that is traffic that comes from people finding your links among the results that classifies as organic. And those are chosen or ranked, so to speak, by Google purely on the basis of the quality and content of the page. So in other words, the relevance to the searcher. We talk about search engine optimization a lot when we talk about a localized website. And on the next slides, again, I just wanted to provide a little bit more information about, is organic really free? You're not paying for the listing, but there is a lot that goes into ranking well organically, and having time expertise, but also quality content, having the right keywords, developing the right content in blogs, social media engagement, making sure you have the right metadata, can be quite a time and resource heavy process. This is a fantastic long-term strategy for source of traffic, and it's something that as a marketing strategy I would always include. But as we've seen, again, going back to Melissa's example earlier, on the next slide, I just wanted to show you what paid search engine marketing looks like, and how you can be aware of those, but also how you can leverage the opportunity to do paid marketing. So before you get your organic results, and every search engine here we have Google USA, for example. This is a search I did a couple of days ago. Lockdown is easing now, things are getting a little bit open. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go out and pick up my yoga classes again. So just typed yoga classes, and as you can see in the highlighted element there, all of those are paid elements. So those are people, yoga studios, that they are putting money behind to make sure that they can show at the top of the searches. This just to show you how prominent they are, but also how well they've been developed and how well they've been designed. Despite the little yellow box or the title reading ad, many consumers really are unaware that these are even advertisements. They feel native, seamless, they fit really nicely into the results. And for this reason, paid search has become more and more popular in recent years as organic search has become more and more competitive. So this just to say that whilst you work on your organic, paid will also help you develop your results. So if you're looking for a long-term strategy, organic is the way to build it, but a strong initial boost with paid search is just going to help. And in this slide, I just wanted to again highlight how combining both, they work in symbiosis. So it's important to have a strong organic and paid strategy, really to help your growth across both channels. And in this graph, you can really see how seamlessly Google Organic is growing together with exposure through paid advertising, and even social media can influence your organic ranking as well. One last thing before you dive into launching your marketing campaigns, and we'll get to some platforms in a moment. Before you get started designing and launching your international marketing, one last crucial step: do your keyword research. Keywords is again key, and this is just a quick example of why doing it and periodically reviewing that is super important. And this is vital for your SEO, for your paid advertising, for social media. This is making sure that you have the right language that you need to use to reach your prospects. In this example, we have very briefly, if I'm launching a campaign in Brazil, for example, I want to make sure that I use the word trem if I'm referring to a train. Otherwise, I would lose 95%. No, sorry, the other way around. Brazil would use comboio. Otherwise, you lose 95%. And if I were to do Portugal, then I would use the term comboio. As you see, two terms that could be interchangeable in Portuguese. Super important to choose the right one where you're going into your paid marketing, any kind of marketing in your international markets. Perfect. Before showing you a couple of examples, I just wanted to, and I know this is maybe the more boring part of marketing, but how do you measure your success? So if you want to measure your outcome, then it means that you have to define set objectives and think about what your realistic goals are. For international markets, this can be especially important as you really build up your brand recognition and the trust that is so needed in the buyer's journey. So before you start designing your marketing strategy, think about your goals. This will then inform what metrics are important to you, to your brand, and those are the ones that you should then really be focusing on and tracking. Once this is set up, don't forget to keep an eye on them, analyze the results, and if needed, make changes. So in the next slide, I just wanted to try and bring everything together what we've discussed today. And here is an example of some localized blog posts that we designed and we ran for Bullman products. So the buyer persona here is clearly defined. Actually, it's really drilled down to quite a fine level. So not just teachers, but primary school teachers. So Bullman sells to art suppliers. And here they want to generate interest in the products in the end client, the teacher who will then use the products. So this is what is meant to be, you know, when we talk about top level funnel, and this is an example of content marketing. In this case, the blog was used in the UK market, but was especially then targeted and localized and promoted in Germany, where Easter is a much bigger event. So we've just passed Easter in March, and you know, with loads of tradition of egg painting for kids and lots of arts and crafts. So schools are reopening, teachers are trying to get back into the swing of things, and this was just a nice way for Bowman to promote their brand, promote the products while reaching their audience with content that is relevant to them at a specific point in time during the year. So if you know, before moving on to the next section where we'll look at platforms in the more specific, I just wanted to take a moment again to introduce IBT Online Marketing Program, which you know, is, as we define, the fastest, most cost-effective way to be found, understood, and do business with by helping your company grow traffic, engagement, and conversion to your localized website or to your international sites. So these programs that you can find out more about on our North Carolina page have been designed to be tailored to your business and to your target markets. So you'll be working with the IBT marketing team closely, really to develop, implement, and optimize a bespoke marketing strategy to suit the needs to help you reach your global goals. So we've seen every market has a slightly different strategy that's needed, and everything is bespoke to the company and to the market. So if you'd like to find out more, you know, feel free to get in touch with me. We have a Q&A coming up shortly, so put your questions in and we'll try and go through them as quickly as we can.
Joelle, before that, why don't we just launch a poll?
Absolutely.
I love my polls. Okay, if that's okay. And then just quickly, if anyone would like to learn more about the Online Global Program and the online marketing side for that, you could let us know. Again, we can circle back to you within the next week or so. There's some downloadables we could send you. There are a lot of webinars, infographics as well, which are all free of charge, downloadable on our website, as well as the North Carolina page that we have on our website. And again, thank you very much for all that enthusiasm. We will be circling back to those of you who have asked that. Thank you very much. Right, I'm gonna close that poll, and we'll move on a little bit to look at the different platforms of using international online marketing.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Susanna. So in the next section, I just wanted, there's so many platforms out there. So I just wanted to start from social media, and again, go through a couple of examples and really showcase how important each platform is and how detailed they can be. But before we dive into each different platform, I just wanted to go back 1 second to that idea of your objective for different goals. So when designing a marketing strategy, it's important to always be aligned with your overall business strategy. So your social media, your search engine marketing really has to fit in with what you're trying to achieve as an overall goal. So having a clear objectives will help you really will give you a starting point to decide what you want to achieve, and consequently how you're going to monitor this or what metrics you should focus on. So here, just for social media alone as an example, you'll see how within a singular platform, and I've taken Facebook here, you can already tailor your activities to the goals and overall objectives of your business. So the key to a successful social media strategy really is having clear and defined KPIs, and then you can track, measure how your audience is engaging with you and how much return on investment you're getting from each platform, allowing you to make some strategic decisions. So unfortunately, social media is a little bit more than just posting, but what I wanted to do today is just give a brief flavor of some of the major platforms, and it might sound like an obvious choice, but let's start from Facebook. Facebook is actually available in 101 languages, so there isn't one Facebook fits all, and people spend an average of 35 minutes a day on the platform. So these are a huge audience of over 2 billion people, making potential customers all over the world a bit easier to reach. I can already hear some of you start to think, but you know, I'm in a B2B space, is this relevant to me? The answer is probably yes. This will depend on your target market, your buyer persona, but it's very important to keep in mind that Facebook is increasingly being used as a tool to research and engage with companies. So not only communicate with friends and family, But that idea of localized social media platforms really drill back to the idea of having the right keywords. So then when people are looking for you, your post will feel native, will feel like it's dedicated to them, and you will have much, much higher engagement. YouTube is another huge social media platform that marketers need to use, regardless of whether you are B2B or B2C. Something that a lot of people don't realize or overlook is how easy and important it is to use video for your business, both domestically and internationally. I mean, look at the statistics, you know, the second most visited website globally, the second largest search engine. So 80% of views are outside of the US, and it's available in 91 countries and 76 languages. So really 9% of US small businesses only use it, from what we could see. So nowadays, you know, with an iPhone or a smartphone, you don't need a huge production budget to make an impactful video. And once you have a video you're happy with, translate it, put subtitles on it, and boom, you can reach a much larger audience. And these fantastically also rank as organic resources on results on Google. Next one is LinkedIn. As many of you know, LinkedIn is important for professionals to connect throughout the US, but don't discount it for international marketing. The largest user base behind the US is India, China, Brazil, the UK, followed by France. And it really has 3 times more effective Facebook and Twitter for lead generation. So again, depending on your goal, depending what you're trying to achieve, then this could be the platform for you. So remember that even if you are a B2B, in the B2B space, you're still speaking to people on the other side. So always try and make sure that your LinkedIn post, your LinkedIn language, your LinkedIn engagement, try to get to know your customers and write for them, not for the machine. Last but not least, again, very conscious of time, I'm trying to not give too much, I want to keep some time for questions at the end. Instagram, again, you might be wondering whether Instagram is the right social media platform for your business. The answer is probably yes. Looking at the stats, is booming, is huge, but this again will depend on your demographic, but there are fantastic opportunities. It's very visual. It has different ways you can post, you can share a story, you can share a longer video. So Instagram is definitely worth consideration in your marketing strategy. Okay, so when considering marketing in China, I just wanted to point this out because it's important to remember that this is a completely different online environment. So rather than your Facebook and Google, here we'd be looking at Baidu, Weibo, Youku for videos. WeChat is a huge platform for Chinese users. We have basically WeChat is a proxy for online. They research, they pay, they manage their bills, everything goes through WeChat. So your customers, your prospects, your partners are on WeChat, and that's where you need to be as well. So just to be mindful that if you're going into China, then you'll be looking at a slightly different set of platforms altogether. Before concluding and just wrapping up with some best practices, I wanted to show a very quick example. Again, going back to what Susanna was mentioning earlier about different markets requiring different strategies, not just for website localization, but also for marketing. So here is again an example from Facebook to show you how important it is to fully understand your buyer persona and what the journey look like in each of your target market. This is a campaign, for example, we ran where we are promoting the same content. This was a blog post, similar imagery, similar message, although of course localized and staying relevant to our local audience, both in Mexico and the UK. But if you look at this post in the specific, for the UK, we had just over 1,200 engagements, and we were super pleased with it. But then you look at Mexico and you go, wow, 20,400 engagements. So if we stopped our analysis at this point, we would definitely infer that our campaign in Mexico worked much better and we need to work on the UK. But if you go one step further, and here we look at Mexico versus the UK in terms of not just their engagement on the website, but also their engagement in terms of downloading literature and then purchasing. So if we're looking here at the yellow and the green bars, you'll see that for Mexico, we know that we need a much higher engagement with the traffic at the top to get a similar level of then sales and conversion at the end. So this just really to highlight and reiterate again that make sure you know your KPIs, track your results, and understand how your buyer journey purchases and what you need to get to your end goal. Perfect. Just rounding off before I hand over to Susanna for some takeaways. Just a quick slide to say, make sure that in terms of before you start your online marketing program, you have a localized website that will act as your local springboard. Get to know your audience, your buyer persona, their journey. Choose which platform are worth your resources. My advice, start small and then build as you learn. But also set your goals for your online marketing and your social media strategy. Answer all common mentions, engage with your audience. You've got them to engage with you, you've got to give something back to them. But then sit back, look, analyze, change, repeat, and keep learning.
Joelle, thank you so much for that. There's quite a few questions have come in, so but keep them coming. We have saved a bit of time now. We'll go to the question part. Just sort of I guess in conclusion, really, from our point of view, we really just wanted to emphasize that for us, for North Carolina exporters, we really feel that you can benefit from online business development tools. That's websites, online marketing, because the entire world is online. And that is really good news for you as an exporter. You know exactly where your clients and your prospects and your future prospects are, and you know how to reach them. They're all online, and you can reach them through social media or your website. So that use those tools for that. Melissa was very kind to explain and tell us a little bit about the online journey for Advanced Superabrasives. We've just taken a couple of quotes from Jonathan, the CEO of the company, and it's just very telling. He's really engaged with the EDPNC to say, how can you help us best? Where are the grants? How can I use the grants best? Pick my right markets, and within sort of 6 months, I'm up there rolling, done it, and getting results from it. So we really do encourage you to look at that. And there are these online global programs for North Carolina exporters. There's a long list there on the right-hand side of your screen that says why and how the program helps you. And it's all about growing your top line. That's what online tools do. They grow your sales, right? It's all about generate leads, reach your markets, found, grow your brand. It's all about top line sales. So that's sort of our field. We've left a couple of minutes at the end. I'm going to launch just straight into the questions because I do want to be respectful of time. The first question, really, there are two questions I'm going to combine from Michael. The one is, where can I learn more about STEP grants? And two, if I want to start this program, do I contact Michael and team, EDPNC? Do I contact IBT Online?
Thank you for the question. First of all, if you want to learn more about STEP grant, please reach out to us. In the slide deck here is the contact information for your representative. If you want to, please feel free to email me and I will connect you with the appropriate international trade manager. And I will also connect you with Jen Vogelsberg, our wonderful STEP grant manager. And we'll take it from there. Remind me, what was the second part of that question, Suzanne?
Michael, if I want to start the online global program, do I contact EDPNC or do I contact IBT?
I think if you're definitely interested, I think first step would be to contact us. Although the vast majority of companies do qualify for the STEP grant to be used with IBT, we always like to verify that first before we get too far ahead of ourselves. So yeah, reach out to us first.
Thank you, Michael. Melissa, there's a question here, which I'm just going to throw your way. It's an interesting one. I hadn't thought of this one. It's how does IBT keep up to speed with what Advanced Superabrasives wants to talk about? How do you keep up to speed with the business? I thought maybe, Melissa, you could answer that. You might be on mute. You're on mute. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, good. Nope.
No.
Got some technical issues. I'm going to leave that question, but Unless Joelle, you can guess what Melissa's going to say.
I will try and guess, but from my perspective, I'd say we are, we're very lucky to work with clients like Melissa, and I can see Jonathan's joined us in the background. And I think it's all about communication. We have a fantastic line of communication. When there is something that Melissa wants to highlight, she just send it over to the team. We work with a project management system where she just posts it in there, and someone from the team, whether it's dedicated to Mexico, to Canada, the online marketing manager and the team will pick it up, localize, post as it needed, and then any back and forth edits is all done through just good communication and talking to each other. So I can see Melissa nodding, so I hope I got that right. But
Right. Thank you, Joelle. Perhaps just another one. How often do you need to refresh these keywords?
Ideally, once a quarter. I know that that's not always easy. There is so much going on in a business level, but say every 6 months at the latest. Things change super quickly, especially now is very, very competitive. So if you can once a quarter, but once every 6 months, I would recommend at least.
Okay. And there's a question. It's again from Melissa, but I'm not sure she's got some technical issues. Oh, there's Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
go ahead. Hit me with the Q&As.
Yes, just a quick Q&A as well. Getting your distributor involved in did you get your distributor involved in the making of the website and the social media?
Well, absolutely. Getting your distributors involved is a pivotal. IBT Online has a lot of expertise in different markets, but your distributors, they're on the ground every day and they know your customers best. So they know exactly how they communicate best with your customers. Perfect examples with our Mexico website. Our Mexican rep actually said, I'm going to use WhatsApp more. So we actually had to change kind of our marketing strategy a little bit more. I mean, we're still doing the Facebook and the LinkedIn, but doing a lot more WhatsApp and putting his WhatsApp contact information out there so that, we went from cold calling people to, 10 inquiries a week once we actually made that change and went live with the website. So having your distributors input not only on the marketing side, but also the keywords is very important. So IBT Online does a great job of giving you, keywords for searches or, ads and stuff like that your customers may use, but your distributor knows those technical terms. In our industry, people call them grinding rocks, grinding wheels, super abrasive wheels. But IBT Online has their list, and then your distributor is going to have whatever that market is in that country.
Yeah. Just another question, just while you're there, Jonathan, as well, is are there parts that you regret in terms of the online side? Are there parts that you think have not gone well? Anything?
No, I really don't have any regrets on the online side. It was a process from us because our old website in the US was terrible to begin with. So we had to redo that, which IBT Online, started with that project, and then we did the international stuff. I believe in controlled growth. So, I recently had a meeting with one of the executives with IBT Online. John called me and he says, I'm really expecting 2 more websites this year because we did 2 last year. And I said, you're going to get them. I said, we're doing the market research on what 2 markets we want. So I won't say there's any regrets. I will say that there is, strict planning that we do and strict, rules of business that we have here. So that way we don't have those regrets, and we really don't have any with working with IBT Online because it's been such a great family friendship atmosphere, and we've just clicked from the beginning.
Thank you very much. I'm very conscious of time. We have run over a little bit. There's one question that's come in that I will answer because I don't think I've ever seen this one before. In the internet side, what are the big dangers coming down the road? So what are the big things that you're seeing that keep you IBT Online up? And that's a very interesting question. Thank you very much. I was so tempted to answer that I'm actually going to do that. There are 2 big things that are coming. One is compliance, data protection, data compliance. And America, the USA, is a little bit behind the curve. I mean, you're not behind the curve compared to many countries, but you are moving towards more compliance and more data protection. And I see that, Europe is further along ahead, Japan is further along ahead, and that is moving definitely. And that is changing also the way people are doing online marketing and the way people are looking and tracking data. So those are the two big things I think that we are seeing coming down the tracks for us. But thank you for that question. It's not one I had before. So I was pleased. I want to do a big shout out and thank you so much, Michael, and the EDPNC team. As always, you do such a good job for North Carolina companies. Really, we are so cognizant of that and so recognizing that. And then a big shout out and huge thank you to Melissa and now Jonathan as well, and the ASI, the Advanced Superabrasives team. We're very grateful. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, your how that online journey that you've had, and sort of bearing witness to that, and helping to encourage as well other North Carolina companies. And then a big thank you also to my colleague Joelle for sharing that expertise. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Stay well and safe. Enjoy the sunshine, the spring, and the good weather coming. Thank you all so much. See you all online and hopefully offline. Wouldn't it be nice to all, meet up? Thank you all very much. Thank you, Jonathan, as well, for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.